I don't know about you, but I think the fans overreact. Good, it's Boy Did Reviews and Black Widow, a 2021 American superhero film based on a Marvel comic character featuring of the same name, produced by Marvel Studios and distributed by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures. This film acts as the 24th film in the MCU, directed by Kate Shortland from a screenplay by Eric Pearson, and stars Scarlett Johansson as Natasha Romanoff, aka the Black Widow, alongside Florence Pugh, David Harbour, Oti Fabine, Olaga Kulanika, William Hunt, Ray Whitson, and Rachel Weisz. And what's this film all about? Well, this film is literally set directly after the events of Civil War, and Natasha Romanoff confronts the darker parts of her ledger when a dangerous conspiracy with ties to her past arises. Pursued by a force that will stop at nothing to bring her down, Natasha must deal with her history as a spy and the broken relationship left in her wake long before she became an Avenger. Ooh. And Lionsgate Films actually began development of a Black Widow film way back in April 2004, with David Hayter attached to write and direct it, and the project did not move forward, and the character's film rights had reverted back to Marvel Studios by June 2006. And Scarlett Johansson was cast in the role for several MCU films, beginning with Iron Man 2, and began discussing a solo film with Marvel. Work began in late 2017, and yeah. Filming took place between May to October of 2019, and the film premiered at events around the world on June 29th, 2021, and was released in the US on July the 9th, simultaneously in theaters and through Disney Plus with Premium Access. It is the first film in the Phase 4 of the MCU and was delayed 3 times from an original May 2020 release date due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And Black Widow broke several pandemic box office records and has grossed over $369 million worldwide, becoming the 5th highest grossing film of 2021. It also made $67 million through Disney Plus in its opening weekend. Bloody hell, that's pretty good right there. And the film generally received positive reviews from critics, with praise from its performances, particularly that of Scarlett Johansson and Florence Pugh, and the action sequences were praised as well. And in July 2021, Scarlett Johansson filed a lawsuit against Disney over the simultaneous release. And I have to admit, I think the fans sort of overreacted with this film, because I just saw a lot of mixed responses and reactions from this film, with people like being sort of mixed on this film. But man, straight off the bat, this film is a blast to watch. It is go, and that is one pro I have to give this film. For a 2 hours and 15-minute film, it flies by so fast. And yeah, the pacing is really well done in this film, and that's the one thing I loved about this film. The action mixed in with the sort of downtime moments were really well done. I love the very dysfunctional family with her sister and David Harbour's character and the other woman. I really did like that sort of dinner scene. It's really well acted and well made. I love seeing the bits and pieces of Scarlett Johansson's past, how she became who she is today, and just all the darkness of the Red Room and all that was just really well done. I love the Red Room scenes as well. They look pretty well lit, and I just the design of it was just really nice to look at. I love Black Widow and Florence Pugh's character sort of like chemistry, just that sister bond. Although it did feel like a very buddy cop-esque type of film, I did find it kind of bizarre when they first meet. They were trying to kill each other even though they knew who each other were, but I guess after all these years, you know, there's some sort of angst. I really dig the whole story and the side plot, and even the villain. Like that villain guy is just, he's a nasty piece of work, just programming all these poor girls to just sort of be his slaves and all that. And you really hate this guy, like you seriously hate him, and the actor who does him, plays him really well. That was just stellar acting right there. And I was kind of surprised. The acting was really, really good. David Harbour's character was a big, big surprise. To be honest with you, I was going into this film thinking that he was going to be the villain because they promoted him heavily, but he's just sort of this misunderstood kind of nutcase of a dude, like him flipping breaking people's arms in the prison, and you know, just man, like I wasn't expecting him to be the sort of like father figure of Black Widow. That was a big surprise, and their chemistry and his acting, I honestly think this is David Harbour's best performance I've seen of him so far. Like man, I really want to see more of this character. I want to see more. Like he was definitely the star of this like film. Every scene he was in, it was either funny or very emotional, and man, the directing was really well done. Also loved the score whenever there was a really actiony moment. Like it really elevated, and it was just the adrenaline in me was just sort of like being pumped to 10,000 with that soundtrack of Black Widow. But even though this film had a lot of good, there are some mixed aspects. I wouldn't say they're negative, but these are things I wasn't really digging. Yeah, let's talk about the mixed and negatives. And yeah, I didn't like some of the CGI when they're sort of fighting. Like I think the earlier scene when Black Widow was just trying to fight the other female widows, like there's a lot of weird CGI when buildings are crashing and bashing. The CGI looks a bit jarring, and even the scene where the helicopter falls down to the ground, it just looked a bit janky, and it looked very yeah, the CGI wasn't really good at times. It looked amazing in times, but then whenever there was a very lit scene, it just looked off and horrible. The smoke looked fake, and it just sort of took me out at times. And I have to admit, this film is weird because I don't really understand why they wanted to put this film in after Endgame. This would have been better suited to be released after Civil War, maybe before the Spider-Man Homecoming film, because it just feels like a weird placement having such a great Black Widow film, but then knowing where the character ends up after Endgame. It just feels a little bit too little too late, you know. It doesn't feel like this was the right time to release this film. But overall, I was still pretty happy, and that end credit scene, it did make up for the very odd sort of release date for this film. But overall, I have to admit, this is definitely the best MCU Phase 4 movie / TV I have seen. Out of all the Phase 4 content we have gotten so far, from WandaVision to Falcon to Loki to What If, this is definitely without a doubt my favorite so far. I had a ball watching this. I'm definitely going to watch this film again, and to be honest, I'll give this film a 7.5 out of 10. I'm going to give it a B+. Go check it out. I highly recommend it. But tell me in the comments down below what you guys thought of Black Widow. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was worth the $30 on the Disney Plus? Like this video, subscribe for more anime and manga reactions and reviews and potential MCU reviews in the future. Thank you for watching, and as always, a Bodhi Review signing out.